Good Erev Shabbos, Shabbos Chol Hamoed, Succos. In a couple of days, we're going to recite the tefillah for Geshem, for rain, that we should have blessed rains, so that way the crops can grow, agriculture can flourish, and we can have food to be able to nourish our animals, ourselves, our bodies, our communities. The bracha of Geshem is a very specific one, but also manifests itself as generally a blessing for bounty and material sustenance. In this tefillah of Geshem that we recite, we call upon Hashem to answer our prayers in the merit and the zchus of various of our forefathers. So, for example, we say, Zechor Av, remember Avraham Avinu. Remember Avraham Avinu, hitzalto me'esh umimayim. Avraham Avinu put himself into great peril, at great risk to demonstrate his loyalty and fidelity to you, Hashem. So, for example, the Medrash tells us that he was ready to jump into the fiery furnace, and indeed he was thrown into a fiery furnace in order to, rather than give up his loyalty to one Hashem, to God. Also, the Medrash tells us that on his way to accomplish the very, very difficult task of Akedas Yitzchak, Hashem, the Satan, put a water barrier, a river, between Avraham and his ultimate destination, and Avraham was willing to fight the watery path and almost succumb to drowning, rather than give up his quest, his commitment to serving Hashem. So here we have an extraordinary zechus. God, if you're not going to do it for us, we are in essence saying, do it in the merit of our grandfather, Avraham Avinu, whose merit certainly should redound to our benefit even today. Similarly, we say, Zechor hanolad b'v'soras yukach namad mayim. This is a reference to Yitzchak Avinu. Of course, Yitzchak Avinu, the poet here composing this tefillah, writes, Lishpoch damo kamayim, that Yitzchak, or Avraham Avinu, was commanded to shed Yitzchak's blood. His blood should flow like water. In other words, that Yitzchak was commanded as part of this process, engaging in the binding of Isaac, that Yitzchak's life was almost his blood was almost shed like cheap like water, as it were. So here is a poetic, perhaps some poetic license here to associate Yitzchak with water, and we're saying, Hashem, in his chus of Yitzchak Avinu, please, if not for us, let his merits redound to us and answer our prayers positively. Or, for example, Yaakov, Zechor tan maklo v'avar yardin mayim. This is also a poetic reference to Yaakov Avinu. And Yaakov nevak lo sar bolol me'eshu me'mayim. We recall the story as is recounted in the Torah, where Yaakov wrestles with this mysterious man in the middle of the night, and Chazal tell us that this mysterious being was a malach saro shel Esav, this angel representing Esav and all that Esav represents in the spiritual realm. And a malach is composed of fire and water, Eish umayim. And Yaakov Avinu struggled and he persevered in the face of this very, very significant spiritual challenge. So for Yaakov Avinu's sake, we argue, please Hashem, answer our prayers. If not for our sake, then in the merit of Yaakov, our forefather. But we get to one zechus here, one merit, which is the merit of Moshe Rabbeinu, which is a little problematic. Listen to what we say in Geshem. Remember Moshe, drawn forth from water. Okay, Moshe was thrust into the water by his mother. He was saved from the water. Hashem, remember to save us, just like you saved Moshe. Okay, nice poetry, beautiful. But this little paragraph concludes with a very curious conclusion. Says what we say in the tefillah, Sigulecha est samulamayim al haselahach vayetzu mayim. At the time your treasured people thirsted for water, he, Moshe Rabbeinu, struck rock and out came water. So here we are referencing the extraordinary event when Moshe Rabbeinu struck the rock and brought forth water for the Jewish people. Now, at face value, Moshe struck the rock twice in his lifetime, once earlier in his tenure and once towards the end of his tenure. Why did Moshe Rabbeinu strike the rock? Well, the first time was because Hashem told him to do so. But the second time, Hashem tells him to speak to the rock, and yet Moshe strikes the rock. Al haselahach. So, which striking of the rock is being referred to here? It's not so clear. It's open to interpretation. One might suggest, well, the simple read is clearly we would be talking about the first time when Moshe was observing properly the command of Hashem. Certainly wouldn't be talking about the second time around. But it's not clear. It's somewhat ambiguous. Why would our paitan, why would our poet, why would we include in a tefillah a phrase here which is open to such interpretation that not only could we be possibly referencing a misdeed of Moshe Rabbeinu, but even if it's not directly referencing that, it includes that. In other words, this is a phrase that Moshe hit the rock is not always associated with positive with positive associations with Moshe Rabbeinu. So, what is this al haselahach that we're referencing here? The Imrei Emes. It is said in the name of the Imrei Emes, the Ger Rabbi, that it doesn't make a difference which of the two hittings of the rock are being referenced here. Whether it is the first one or the second one, both of them are a merit. Both of them are a Succos. How so? How is hitting the rock in the second round, rather than speaking to the rock as Moshe was commanded, how could that possibly be a merit? Says the Imrei Emes, we are provided with a principle in Judaism, and that is tshuva, repentance. And tshuva done sincerely, in an authentic and genuine way, not only wipes the slate clean from negative consequence, but also creates a zechus. It also creates a merit. It stands as a positive mark in our ledger of merits and demerits, of mitzvah and sin. In other words, when we reference the fact that Moshe Rabbeinu hit the rock, we are indeed saying, just like Moshe Rabbeinu hit the rock, and Moshe Rabbeinu did tshuva, and Moshe Rabbeinu, whatever Hashem's master plan is for letting him in, not letting him in, whatever that's all about, at the end of the day, we can feel confident that Moshe Rabbeinu did tshuva. And that stands as a great merit. And it should redound not only as a credit to Moshe, but a credit to all his progeny and to Klal Yisrael afterwards. If you're not going to listen to our prayer for our own sakes, Hashem, listen to it in the credit of Moshe Rabbeinu. But I would take this one step further. And we say in this prayer, we reference al haselahach, Moshe Rabbeinu's, perhaps his misdeed of hitting the rock rather than speaking to the rock, not only to bring down his credit, but to remind us of our capability, of what we can do to bring our own credit, our own merit, our own zechus. We can take our many sins, we can take our many failures, maybe they 2 or 2,000 or more than that, but we can take them and we can bring them to our credit. How? On a simple level, by doing tshuva, but by using our failures as stepping stones to greatness, using our sinful choices as learning teachable moments for ourselves that we can then grow from and become more profound, more deep, more meaningful and purposeful human beings, leading more profoundly spiritual lives. Al haselahach is not just a reminder to Hashem. Al haselahach reminds us of what we are capable of And in the Succos of that, Hashem, perhaps, just perhaps, we can be worthy of your great blessings. A good Shabbos, a good Erev Shabbos, Chol Hamoed, and an early good Yantif to us all.